Hello, my dear Taurus. This is your reading for the week of April 27th, or whenever it resonates, because we're all on slightly modified timelines, of course, depending upon what other astrological influences are going on for us. But the first image that I get for you is you've got a hat and you are stuffing stuff into the hat so that when you put it on your head, it will fit. Excuse me. And so it's kind of like, women stuffing tissues into their bras to fill it out to make it look bigger. The feeling that I'm getting is, of course, what is a hat? It's a role that we take on. Or that's often what it symbolizes. So in this case, what I'm saying, Taurus, is, are you trying to wear a hat that's not quite comfortable, that doesn't quite fit, and you're stuffing it with stuff to try to make it fit? In other words, you're trying to make something in your life that isn't exactly what you want to wear, what you want to be doing, something that you can carry off. And the sense that I'm getting with that is, it's almost as though it's something that you think you should be able to do, something that you think is valuable, important, or even just something that by external judgment looks as though that would be an honorable or a good role to fill. But what I'm seeing instead is you don't really want to. You're doing it because you kind of think you should in a good old work through it Taurus mode. But what you're really doing is you're eyeing the side where there's all these other hats, and there's one there that has got flowers on it, and it's kind of just like silly and wonderful. And that's the one you're eyeing. And Taurus, what I'm seeing, the cards that I'm getting here, it's very interesting because the first card that I pull is Pride. And that's kind of almost the feeling that I get when you start putting this hat on, when you're starting to stuff cotton into this hat to make it fit onto your head. It's almost kind of like you've got that little bit of, okay, I've done it, I can do it, I can do it. And yet, when you look at that hat over there, when you take this hat off that doesn't really fit, and you look at the one that you really want, there's a swelling of pride that comes from inside of like, yes, this is who I am. I am not this functional hat that needs to be stuffed to fit. I am this wild creation that is spectacular. And when I say it's got flowers on it, I'm not talking about a dainty little, straw hat. I'm talking about this hat that is so covered in beautiful poppies and peonies and exotic flowers that you barely don't even see a hat. It's sculpted and it's spectacular. And that's what I feel that's the quality of pride you want. That pride of ownership of who you really are, and all that wonderful wild stuff in you, Taurus, that wants to come out, because it does. All right. Now, the other thing that I'm seeing here is humor. And I think that's also really relevant to a Taurus person who has, again, this part of the collective that I'm reading for, who has taken their work and themselves so seriously, is that humor really, when you can laugh at something, when you can be gentle with your humor, when you can have a good chuckle over something, it really moves through our defensiveness, and it moves through so many of those personality, ego structures that we put up to protect ourselves. It really gets underneath all of those. So you're being asked really to embrace some humor around whatever this new hat is, this new identity is that you're looking at, that you're taking on. And to really breathe. Now, what does breathe mean? Breathe means stay in the moment. Stay in the moment. And really let yourself deliberately and consciously do that on a regular basis. So, stop every few hours, breathe, take it in, notice how you're feeling. What hat are you wearing? How could you be more in alignment with that spectacular hat that I was just describing? And what situation have you been taking so seriously that you step back? Okay, so listen, this card, Choose Kind, fell out, and I put it back in the deck, and I shuffled and cut the deck, and there it is again. So this is really relevant for you. Today, whenever you have a choice between being right or being kind, choose kind. This to me goes back also the two hats, okay? Right or frivolous, and not even frivolous, right or enjoyable. Straight, creative. But also for you too, this is really you being careful not to be unkind to yourself in the way you speak to yourself, and really look at whether or not your internal dialogue is supporting this new sense of who you want to be, this beautiful bloom, this exotic creation, this sculpture of art and gorgeousness and nature. And so that's what I'm seeing here. Again, that Choose Kind card. Now, it may also be you needing to look at where you're not being kind to other people. But I also find very interestingly, I'm sure you have too, that when we are not wearing the hat we want, when we're not embodying what we really want to be embodying, it's very hard to be kind. When we are upset with ourselves, we can be take that out on other people without meaning to, okay? Now, you've also got the loss and liberation card that comes in around this, and I feel like that's part of what you're being asked to give up is, are you willing to give up that hat of duty and respectability and the should hat that you don't quite like, doesn't quite fit? Or are you prepared to give that identity up and really take a chance on experiencing this other part of yourself? What I see when you're doing that, what I'm feeling as I'm noticing you picking that hat up, is that there's almost like a childhood delight. When I say childhood, it's childlike. It's not childish, it's childlike. There's a delight in it. There is a liberation in it. It's like you're giving yourself a chance to go back and appreciate qualities of youth and innocence, but with a wisdom, because now you have more beneath you, and now you get boundaries or barriers. So again, I think when I get two cards like this, where there's like two alternates or two opposites, loss or liberation, boundaries or barriers, typically there is some kind of conflict going on. So if you're having difficulty deciding which one you want to go for, the encouragement here is breathe. Stay kind to yourself, which is not forcing yourself to do stuff that doesn't fit. Stay in the moment. Stay in touch with your body and with your senses. Your senses. This is what's really important in this. When I look at that hat, my God, the colors, the sculpture, the texture, the flowers, it looks like it's alive. It looks like it's nature. It looks like it's beautiful. Stay in touch with your senses and let your senses, your physical senses, guide you, okay? You don't need to be afraid of chaos, but if you are in a state of chaos, keep your mind, or if your world around you is in a state of chaos, keep your mind on where you want to go, what you want to be in touch with it, and let that guide you. Because the energy that's released in chaos can really help move things forward as long as we don't get drawn into the confusion of the chaos. If we can keep our intention clear, and your intention will be guided with your emotion and your senses, you can harness all of that chaotic energy to move you forward a lot faster. Okay? That's it, Taurus. God bless. Take care. Thanks for stopping by.